Hello Cowboys fans. Let's get to another round of Dallas Cowboys news. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any news from your team. Mike McCarthy deserves a lot of credit for keeping the Cowboys consistent. Even with the setback against the Bills, Mike McCarthy does a solid job in Dallas. Mike McCarthy's tenure with the Dallas Cowboys didn't start well. With the COVID-19 pandemic causing major restrictions in the NFL in 2020, McCarthy wasn't able to see the team in person until August, since everything was done virtually. An ankle injury to quarterback Dak Prescott at the end of the season didn't help either, as the Cowboys finished 6-10 and missed the playoffs for the second year in a row. Once the 2021 campaign arrived, McCarthy had another chance to show the prowess he displayed during his days with the Green Bay Packers, where he won a Super Bowl in 2010. The Cowboys won the NFC East by compiling a 12-5 record. During that season, McCarthy managed to come up with a game plan to compensate for the loss of Prescott from a game against the Minnesota Vikings, which they won with backup quarterback Cooper Rush. Unfortunately, the Cowboys didn't win a playoff game, as they were eliminated at home in the first round against the San Francisco 49ers. Perhaps McCarthy's best coaching job in Dallas came in 2022. Prescott fractured his thumb during the Cowboys' season-opening loss to the Tampa Buccaneers. However, McCarthy held the team together during his 5-game absence, going 4-1 during that time with Rush. It shouldn't be forgotten how difficult it is to win so much without your starting signal caller, and left tackle Tyron Smith, playing just 4 games in the regular season, didn't make things any easier. Dallas went 12-5 again and ended Tom Brady's career away from home in the playoffs, only to fall to the 49ers again a week later. The Cowboys had high hopes for rookie linebacker DeMarvion Overshown this season, but he tore his anterior cruciate ligament during the preseason. In addition, All-Pro cornerback Trayvon Diggs suffered the same fate before the Cowboys' Week 3 clash with the Arizona Cardinals. Despite these major blows, the Cowboys are currently 10-4 and sit atop the NFC East and have an outside chance of reaching the top of the conference, although it's highly unlikely. Dallas clinched a playoff spot for the 3rd year in a row, the first time they've had an unbroken streak since they went 6 consecutive seasons from 1991 to 1996. McCarthy also put his reputation on the line this season after former offensive coordinator Kellen Moore, who was the architect of several high-profile attacks during his time with the Cowboys, left for the Los Angeles Chargers. Despite some initial offensive difficulties, McCarthy placed the Cowboys 6th in total offense and 2nd in points per game, 30.8, under his command. He's known for being great with defenders, and Prescott is playing the best football of his career and is in the middle of the NFL MVP race. It's safe to say that the man just knows how to coach. Sure, making the Cowboys NFC contenders every season is great because the end result is having a shot at the postseason. However, McCarthy needs to take the next step and get the Cowboys past the second round of the playoffs. Something they haven't done since their last Super Bowl campaign in 1995. So there's still work to be done on McCarthy's part as it relates to winning titles in Dallas, but the job he's done so far should be respected, especially with some of the obstacles he's faced. The Cowboys game against the Dolphins offers a kind of potential practical test. The Dolphins offer the Cowboys a potential preview of the dragon they can't seem to slay. During the string of 5 consecutive wins the Dallas Cowboys had, the same conversation was going on in my head. It centered on a hypothetical Dallas Cowboys playoff game against the San Francisco 49ers for the 3rd year in a row. After Dallas lost to San Francisco earlier this season, it would have been impossible to pick the Cowboys against the 49ers, given recent history. But the winning streak has given rise to a new kind of optimism, which still exists despite last week's terrible defeat, and maybe there was a way I could pick Dallas to upset Thanos. Maybe these Cowboys, like many before them, would win their stripes in a playoff game against the 49ers and finally break any kind of curse. At the end of the day, it would be purely exciting to pick the Cowboys against San Francisco in a playoff game, and we might not even get a 3rd consecutive postseason game between the two teams, since it's all still so far away. But there's no doubt that the fear of that lives free in all our minds, which is why Sunday's game against the Miami Dolphins is pretty important. The Cowboys are still in contention for the NFC East and top spot in the conference, the latter is certainly a much longer hope, and so winning each and every game is of paramount importance, especially considering how formidable Dallas is at home. With that understood and acknowledged, we can now discuss the topic at hand. The Miami Dolphins offer a sort of practical test for that hypothetical rematch against San Francisco. Shout out to PFF's Ben Larimore for putting that thought out there on Thursday. Dolphins coach Mike McDaniel comes from the Kyle Shanahan tree and has built an offense that dismantles and embarrasses opposing defenses in much the same way. Aside from the obvious, the Dolphins have a great offense and the 49ers have a great offense, so seeing one great offense as preparation for another great offense, this is an offense built on the same kind of imagery with how much movement and distraction they use. This is from a fortnight ago, so the numbers don't reflect the current moment, but it's safe to say that the Cowboys expect a lot of movement against the Dolphins. Note that next Saturday's opponent, the Detroit Lions, are also near the top of the league, but nobody is doing it at the same pace as Miami and San Francisco usually do. Except for the team that Dallas would play in the wildcard round of the playoffs if it started today, they don't, the Los Angeles Rams. We're not even a full week removed from the Cowboys' defense getting all kinds of lighting, but that was mostly work done on the ground. That's not to say that Miami is preparing for some kind of aerial assault, but it's certainly preparing to fool Dan Quinn and his unit at every possible opportunity. Consider that his former offensive coordinator Kyle Shanahan has done this at every opportunity since Quinn took his current position in Dallas. Surviving Miami's offense, or beating the Dolphins in one fell swoop, would in no way prove that the Cowboys were ready for the 49ers in a possible playoff game. But there are very few opportunities to face teams/offenses with the same disposition as Kyle Shanahan, and if there was a true replacement to take over from the star player, then Mike McDaniel is absolutely it. We'll see how things go. Have your say on the news? Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any Dallas Cowboys news. Thanks.